everyone, welcome to a segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. So in this short episode, we will talk on what happened last night in Phoenix, Arizona, as the Los Angeles Lakers got blown out by the Phoenix Suns. In fact, let's change that to embarrassment by Suns. And that went about as poorly as possibly could have. And with AD sidelined with the groin strain, the Lakers got mashed by the Suns, 115-85, to set up an elimination game for LeBron James. And the X factor in this game was Dennis Schroeder. And he had 0 points, 1 assist, 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, and he turned down $84 million from the Los Angeles Lakers. And they just struggled from the get-go, the Lakers. They didn't get much going, and everyone was talking about the Lakers getting blowout, or Devin Booker scoring 30, or Booker scoring 20 in the first half, or Chris Paul getting injured. But no one's talking about LeBron James has one of his efficient playoff games we have seen. LeBron shot 50% from the field, 6 for 10 from downtown. And I think that not playing Montrezl Harrell, not playing Horton Tucker is a bad news for the Lakers. And you might see Frank Vogel gone after this season if they lose Game 6 at the Staples Center. And you should have started Marc Gasol over Andre Drummond. You should have started Kyle Kuzma over Morris. And you should have had Caldwell Pope off the bench because he's coming off an injury, and have Talen Horton-Tucker. And Dennis Schroeder had his worst games in his career. He had 0 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist in a playoff game. And that can't cut it. And everyone's talking about the Lakers losing, but they're not talking about how Montrezl Harrell is not being used properly, or THT. And yes, AD is not played, and the Lakers are used to having their full core. But LeBron James missed 30 games this season. Anthony Davis missed 40 games. Everyone has missed games, but Frank Vogel needs to do better decisions on the floor. Caldwell Pope scored no points, Schroeder 0. The only starter that was efficient and relevant was King James, who put up 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. And LeBron is not young anymore. He couldn't carry like he was carrying the Cavs or the Miami Heat. But LeBron is still a relevant player. He's probably will be one of the best to ever play the game. And yes, maybe LeBron James is gonna have a game of his life in Game 6. Maybe he will, because remember, in Miami, they were down 3-2 to Boston, and everyone thought that LeBron cannot get it done. He's only a regular season or a first round guy. And what did he do? He scored 44, 18 boards, and 5 assists to force a Game 7, and they won in Game 7 against the Big 3 Celtics. And in Cleveland, when he was down 2-0 and 3-1, everyone said he's washed up. And what did he do? Him and Kyrie carried that team to beat the best regular season team in NBA history, in the Golden State Warriors. And last season, before the playoffs started, they said they can't beat Red Hot Dame and the Blazers. They can't beat James Harden and Russell Westbrook backcourt and the three-point shooters in Houston. They can't beat Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and they obviously cannot get past Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder and Bam Adebayo. And what happened? He always wins against his critics and haters. So you will wait and see what will happen in Game 6. Will LeBron go off and get everyone going and score 30, 40, 50 piece? Or will the other guys step up in Dennis Schroeder, in KCP, in Kyle Kuzma? Or will Frank Vogel actually use Montrezl Harrell and Taylor Horton Tucker in the important time of the game? Because that was the problem. They were down by 10. You should have put the bench guys in instead of keeping Schroeder and KCP and Morris and Drummond. And it went sideways as the Lakers scored 10 in the second. But just because the Lakers are getting blown out in Game 5 does not mean it's just because they're playing bad. You're playing the second team in the Western Conference in the Phoenix Suns. They're second seed in the West for a damn reason. They're second in the whole NBA for a damn reason. Devin Booker is no joke. So is Chris Paul. Chris Paul is old, but he is no joke. DeAndre Ayton is an improving two-way center. You got Miles Bridges, who's an all-around defensive player. Well, when he wants to be. And you have Jay Crowder, who's a great three-point shooter, a good pest for the Suns, and a good defender. And yes, they got Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson, Torrey Craig, Dario Saric, Frank Kaminsky, Etuan Moore. Like, the Suns are not a garbage team that is second seed in the West. And I know Lakers have King James, have AD, one of the probably top 10 players in the NBA. But you gotta understand that the AD is hurt, LeBron is hurt, but injuries are part of the game. This is not an excuse. But the Lakers need to play an all-around game, and Frank Vogel needs to make better decisions on the floor. But make sure to tune in to the Lakers and Suns for Game 6 at the Staples Center tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern Time, as the Suns are looking to advance while the Lakers are trying to force a Game 7 in Phoenix. Thanks for tuning in to this recap and preview for the Game 6 between the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns.